Right, tonight we've got ourselves a special vlog. It's not Warzone related, but it goes back to our roots. A band of brothers. We're going back to the early 2000s. Every Thursday we would meet, we would play, and it would be the ultimate football game. We ain't talking about FIFA. We ain't talking about esports, football, whatever it is in this day. We're talking about Pro Evolution Soccer. Stay tuned, everyone. These the boys. Jonathan, how old were you when we had these nights?
I think I was this big.
Aye.
I think I might have been 9, 10. Absolutely loved Pro Evo nights. Every Thursday night, I used to look forward to it before school. I was in primary school back then leading into secondary, but absolutely loved it. It was a little childhood memory for us, but it was character building as well.
Character building. It was brutal.
We had some aggro.
There was no prisoners taken, was there?
No. Always AC Milan, Shevchenko, and then that led to me game.
And there's that your gamer tag's been Chevy ever since, hasn't it?
Chevy 7 hit.
And that came from Shevchenko. I know. Bri, how are highlights of your Pro Evo days?
Yeah, I mean, these were great times back in the day. I mean, I'll go through. John said was AC Milan. I was Man United. Chris, who we'll go to next, was always Arsenal. And then there was only 2 players that ever changed the teams. I think when we used to be Pro Evo, which was Peter and Gary. And Gary was Real Madrid, but who was he in his rogue season? Chelsea. He had a season as Chelsea in his rogue season. We didn't change because we were comfortable and confident with how we would perform. Obviously, Gary won a few titles, but he struggled and he had to search for that form, whereas we were pretty comfortable. But absolutely great days. I was in charge of the data, the spreadsheet, and pulling everything together, the tables and everything, and it was absolutely awesome. And tonight,
tell them about the data. How we used to get the data. Back in the day, what did we have to do to get the teams?
I mean, I think on the opening intro, Gary touched on the ultimate football game. Back in the day, Pro Evo was the boyo. The only thing that let it down was the licensing, which it didn't have, but we used to get the option file. And we used to use whatever means necessary to get our hands on the option file, which basically turned Pro Evo into the official sort of licenses that had everything on it, and that's how we got the data. And
we had a contact, didn't we? Remember?
We had some contacts, yeah. Shout out to Brains, who always used to pull the option file together. And good times. And tonight we're going to do a few 2v2s and or 3v2s or a World Cup, and go back in time.
Brilliant, Chris. Come on, I've got to come over to Chris, one of the staples of the rare Pro Evo nights. Howie, Chris, Arsenal was your choice.
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts back on the day.
Back in the day, yeah. Arsenal were my team. Always a 3-5-2. Brighton introduced the transfer system. My main targets at the time, Cannavaro at the back, Nestor at the back.
Oof.
Yeah, so they were big and strong. Got in there. But obviously Henry was the main man. He was the main man up front. Couple of rogue players that got into the team there as well. I think I brought Anelka back in as well at one point.
But what were the nights like though? I mean, in the early days, the nights were just something else, weren't they?
The top nights, but I was a part-time bouncer as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
A few fights here and there, and I had to put my weight about a bit to keep hold of people.
It was competitive, wasn't it?
Oh, it was competitive.
It wasn't as if it was just like lads having a bit of fun. This was like...
Well, this made or broke your weekend.
It did.
It was a Thursday night.
It did.
Going into a Friday, and if you lost 2 or 3 games, that was it.
I'm telling you, if you lost 2 or 3 games on a Friday night, there was absolute hell on down at the big club. You were looking to take it out on some innocent party in the big club on a Friday night because you were beaten. And the banter was just brutal as well. I mean, Bri, if you remember that time when Jonathan was just how old?
I think Jonathan had been 9 or 10.
9-year-old.
In his first, he
got himself into his first cup final against Chris. And it was getting late in the game.
It was.
And I think everybody from a fairy tale standpoint, did want Jonathan to win, right? He was up against Chris, who was really good at the game, won a lot of trophies back in the day. But I think everybody was shouting for Jonathan, and there was just this. It goes down in history. Tell them about it, lads. Tell them about what happened.
Well, I'm going to call it, and no disrespect to Gary here, because Gary did win a lot of titles, but me and Chris were perceived as the big two.
Yeah, top two.
We won a lot of trophies, and I didn't get to the final that year. So obviously the next big thing, or the next objective for me, was Chris didn't win in the final. So there was that, and then he was also he was playing my little cousin who'd managed to get to the final as well, so it was kind of a double whammy, and he was 9-10-year-old at the time, and we wanted him to win. And I don't know if he was 1-0 up to, there was a goal in it anyway, and Chris broke away. Henri broke through, and normally when Chris gets away with Henri, he scores. And there was only one thing that Jonathan could do to win the cup, and it was...
Bring him down.
Bring him down. No, but it wasn't just said. It was screamed.
It was screamed, and
Some advice.
there was nastiness in it, and I brought Henri down and proceeded to win 1-0. And I was hoisted on people's shoulders in Stephen and Christine's back bedroom, in Gary's old room, and it was absolutely brilliant.
It was. I mean, they're just little bits of highlights, and
Yeah.
I think it just started to naturally come to an end when it became a little bit violent.
Yeah.
You know, when
Yeah.
you're talking about Chris, the bouncer. Chris had to intervene on numerous occasions, and to be honest, it was always me and our Bri, you know, rubbing each other up the wrong way. He'd used to sit with his... Actually, show them how he used to sit. Show them how he used to sit in front of the flipping the telly. This used to wind us up just the way he used to sit more than anything, right? He would sit in front of the telly with his hands and knees crossed. I would be sat next to him on a settee like this, and if he scored a goal, he'd give a little, yep, and then what you'd do, then he'd give a little, and I kid you not, I just used to...
And then I would turn around like...
And then there was just one night, and it was when I just moved into the house with Beth. Chris, what did you have to do?
Physically restrain you. And I don't think I'll let you move for about 5 minutes.
Nah, I mean, I'll admit it, right? I'm a Raji son when I used to get going. I could not move Chris. And I was like saying to him, Chris, you better get off us. There was no moving Chris. He was not moving one little bit.
No, I told you, and that was it.
And I think that might have been the last night of Pro Evo, to be honest. And
No.
it ended in 11th Street, Horton, roundabout then.
Yeah, it might have been around then. I'm not sure. It was a little bit after that. But it wasn't much longer after
It
that.
wasn't
I don't
much
think.
longer because the writing was on the wall, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think we used to have a couple of week cool-off periods as well, didn't we?
Aye. Yeah, just to reset everything and you know, take it from there. But listen, there were epic times, and it was like our gaming journey, wasn't it? You know, we've started on Nintendos, we've started on Commodore 64s, Ataris, and we've worked our way all the way through to the PlayStations. We're on the Xboxes now, the 360s, the new X's, PCs. A lot of us have PC setups now, and I don't think gaming will ever leave us. But tonight, we're back for one last journey, and we're playing it.
Tonight we go.
Absolutely didn't. Oh, no way! Who's it goal? Behind his joint. Oh, that's vintage. Right, lads, what do we think of that? Eh?
That was heartbreaking.
Devastating. Get that mic.
That is the beauty of Pro Evo. It gets you like that, doesn't it?
We grew into it though. Do you think if we had a couple of more nights on that, we'd get the World Cup one?
Oh yeah. Maybe it's a couple of months worth of maybe it's a night a week.
There's a few joypads that work properly.
But no, that was good crack. The World Cup. It brings it back what it's like, and it ain't easy to get through in the World Cup. Like, but to go out on goal difference like that, that's absolutely.
We did. I mean,
heartbreaking,
look at them teams we came up against.
And to be honest, right, there was one player there who put the tackle in and got the equaliser, and then in the big game there, put it into the roof of the net, and we thought he'd done it, and it just wasn't enough. What did you think about it, Biggs? Biggs?
No comment.
Lads, it's been great, though, hasn't
That's
it?
how he likes to play it. He
Yeah, it's
always
been
has.
great.
There you go, John.
Good times. I mean, this is the sort of shit that we used to get up to every single week. Playing on this, the drama.
Yeah.
Can you get this sort of drama sat in your gaming chair with your £15,000 gaming setup? Eh? You know what I mean? Lads round the houses, beers flowing, crack going,
Yeah.
and we've been knocked out on fucking goal difference.
I think it's
Brilliant,
just as
man.
good. Just as good.
Innit?
Really enjoyed that.
Lads, have you enjoyed it?
Good crack.
Good crack.
So there you go. Anybody around our age, in the 40s and 30s, this should ring true to you. It's got to. Anyway,
Class.
we're going to call it a night there. Take it easy, everyone, and we'll catch you in the next one.